I tried to warn them. I really did. But you guys can see my bracket is completely off the charts at this point. It has officially glitched out ESPN's entire little system. And now ESPN, I mean, what they've done the past few days, I mean, this is borderline criminal at this point. Nobody's seen this before. The way they've been attacking a private citizen in myself, it is despicable and it is disgusting. And that's why I have my legal team ready to go, because ESPN sends me an email yesterday saying, listen, we're going to remove your bracket because we think you've been cheating. You somehow got the picks because my bracket is so good. And then they explained to me that their servers are on the verge of crashing. They can't handle all of the traffic that's coming from my bracket. Apparently, there's a backup within their system to where they're trying to manage all the data. They see my bracket. My bracket is so powerful. This is basically the equivalent of one single user on Twitter getting all of the internet site traffic on one account. So this is going to completely crash everything on ESPN, and that's why they're saying, look, you need to take the bracket down. I'm not taking it down. If you want to try and take it down and say that, oh, I somehow cheated, it's completely false. I was the only one that predicted the 16-1, the FDU upset, and I got bonus points for it due to an Easter egg within ESPN. And now, because their system can't properly render it, they want to claim that it is my fault, when in reality, we both know ESPN probably at this point owes me a minimum of $2 or $3 million for my bracket wins. And, my message to ESPN is, don't make the same mistake that Amazon did about 3 months ago when they tried selling me a fake Xbox because one of their dumbass employees exchanged a real Xbox, put it in a box, and then gave me a used one, and I ended up suing Jeff Bezos. That's why he's not the richest man in the world anymore. It was because I bumped him down at least like 5 or 6 billion. But guys, let's take a look at the brackets. You can see the chalk bracket sitting right now, 78%. The coin flip bracket, thanks to Kansas State, up to the 86th percentile. This one's at 98 percentile, 95, 93, 99. So we've got a few that are hot right now. 95 percentile thanks to UConn. 95 percentile thanks to UConn. But guys, let's get through my full reactions to the games last night and a preview for the games tonight. All right, beginning with the offensive fireworks, it is Kansas State beating Michigan State by 5 in overtime. So guys, there's a few crazy stats about this game, but the biggest one, if you take a look at Michigan State's shooting line, 49% from the field, 52% from three, 82% from the free throw line, not a single team in NCAA tournament history in the Sweet 16 that's had a shooting line at least that good has actually lost the game. And it happened in large part because Kansas State also shot extremely well, 56%, 45% from three, maybe not great from the free throw line, but overall, I think the key stat to note in this one is the steals. Kansas State with 10 steals, Michigan State with 2 steals. MSU has always been a low volume, high percentage three-point shooting team, but 13 of 25 in the tournament and losing the game is unheard of. This was a really fun game. You had, how about 20 points, 19 assists for Noel? Did you guys hear that Calipari called him a little kid? Dude, that is so disrespectful. Calling someone a little kid in college basketball, I know he's 5'8", but then apparently Izzo was really butthurt and said Kansas State after the game got lucky because they banked in a few threes. But overall, Kansas State gets the job done. They get the win, and they're advancing to the Elite Eight. That's a good win over a Michigan State team who's extremely hard to beat when they are making threes. But in this tournament, it's survive and advance. And Kansas State, it looked like they were going to win this game in regulation. They were up by 4 with a minute left. They have a few empty possessions on offense. They get the ball last. They can't score, but they do get the job done in overtime, so Kansas State will be moving on. Michigan State, the final Big Ten team that is out in the Sweet 16, and a lot of people, hating on the Big Ten. It is what it is, guys. I still like the Big Ten Conference personally. I know they always perform bad in the tournament, but let's be honest. I mean, what are you going to do? Put another Mountain West team in? I guess San Diego State's still alive, but we'll see tonight. Next, you have UConn, the 4 seed, destroying Arkansas. This game, I was shocked at the overall line on this game. It was only UConn -4. I think it got bet down to -3.5. But simply, this was a mismatch. There's really no other way to look at it. Looking at the overall stats, I mean, UConn right now is an absolute juggernaut. They are running through everyone. This is why I picked UConn to the Final Four. This is why I picked them in my second chance bracket as well to make it there. They are one of the best teams, top 5 team overall analytically, even though they are a 4 seed. And Arkansas could really never get going on offense throughout this entire tournament. All 3 of their games offensively really were not that good. Even the upset win over Kansas, they didn't shoot the ball well. And here, they do have the advantage in terms of offensive rebounds. They attempted 9 more shots, but quite frankly, UConn way better defensively, way more efficient, shooting 58% from the field. Both teams shooting well at the free throw line, but UConn sitting at 81%. And again, this is just a mismatch. The stats really aren't going to tell you the full story. This game was not competitive at all, basically midway through the first half. So UConn, not surprising, they will be moving on to the Elite Eight. And then we do have FAU beating Tennessee. So this one, I mean, we know Tennessee, they're great on defense. They actually have the number 1 defense analytically in college basketball. But I was so scared to pick Tennessee to go far, I actually picked Duke to upset them. They beat Duke. I give them credit for that. The reason I was scared, they have a horrible offense, and it rears its ugly head here. 34% from the field, 21 of 63. You're not winning a basketball game shooting that poorly. I don't care if you attempt 13 more shots. I don't care if you get more offensive rebounds. You get 6 more steals. You get more possessions. If you shoot 33% from the field, you're not winning. 9 times out of 10. And that's what happened. Tennessee was in control of this game early. It was a typical Tennessee defensive struggle. It was low scoring, and then they just couldn't hit anything in the second half. And FAU, and how about FAU? This team has flown completely under the radar. After a great regular season, they get disrespected as a 9 seed. They beat Memphis on a walk-off layup. And then they get Fairleigh Dickinson. I know everyone was rooting for Fairleigh Dickinson to make it to the Sweet 16 because they're a 16 seed. But this FAU team, under the radar, into the Elite Eight at 34-3. What a remarkable season for them. Their numbers weren't great overall, but you really don't have to be great against Tennessee because Tennessee's so bad offensively. That was the big thing with Duke, to where I said if Tennessee is shooting 40% from the 3-point line, they become really scary. They can't replicate it. They shoot 26% from the 3-point line, 33% overall, and this is the result. This is what I expected to happen against Duke. It happens against FAU. So FAU, as 4-point underdogs, ends up winning that game outright and really controlling the entire second half. And then the nightcap game, the shocker, UCLA up by 13 points at half. Gonzaga storms ahead late in the second half. UCLA mounts one of the most epic comebacks, and then Gonzaga nails a deep 3 and holds on to win. And really, these stats kind of mirror each other. Gonzaga shooting a little bit better from the field at 50%. You got to give credit where credit is due. Drew Timme, what was it, 33 points, 16 rebounds. I know he's old. I know he's a senior. He's a typical Gonzaga dude, but still, it's a really impressive performance. And UCLA, I think they just had one too many injuries, unfortunately. If they had their full healthy team, this team might go to the national championship. They didn't. And Gonzaga, even with the poor defense, even with being down 13 points at half, it shocked me due to how bad their defensive metrics are. And how about from the free throw line, 9 of 17, still winning that game. this is March Madness. Crazy things happen. Congratulations to Gonzaga. They're on to the Elite Eight, but I still don't think. I believe they have to face UConn now, and to me, they're just not a complete enough team to beat a team like UConn. Looking at the matchups tonight, so my current hope tonight is that the first 3 games are chalk, and then Xavier beats Kansas. Personally, that's what I'm rooting for. So Alabama over San Diego State, Houston over Miami, Creighton over Princeton. They're sitting 9.5-point favorites. And then I do have Xavier upsetting Texas, winning that game outright due to Xavier's offense and a personal bad vibe I'm getting from Texas. I just think they're going to be out of the tournament personally, but they are a really good team. You know, the San Diego State-Alabama game, apparently Brandon Miller is still not 100%. So a little bit of an odd situation going on there for sure. He has not looked like himself, but he's close to 100%, they said. And Alabama offensively is just too good. I will say the one caveat in this whole thing, if Alabama, they're a big three-point shooting team, if they start missing a lot of threes and Brandon Miller is not 100% and San Diego State has a slow-paced team that plays really good defense, things could get interesting. That's San Diego State's only hope. You've got to hope Alabama is missing from 3. Brandon Miller possibly not 100%. You're 7.5-point underdogs, but take advantage of the slow possessions, limit the overall possessions of the game, and control the basketball in possession and really keep this game slower paced. Same thing, you know, with Houston and Miami. That's the one game when you look at the first 3 games and you're seeing 7.5-point favorite, 7.5-point favorite, 9.5-point favorite. The one team that I've heard Miami might be able to upset Houston. I need Houston to win really badly. I'm not going to lie. You know, and let's be honest, guys, Miami defensively, they're outside of the top 100. I would be shocked if Houston lost this game. You think Houston, they've got 4 or 5 extra days to rest. They should be, you know, almost fully healthy at this point. And Miami, the worry with Miami is they have so many offensive scores. And, if Miami can get Houston to play more up-tempo, if Houston is in the trail technique, trailing with like 12 minutes left in the game, that's where they struggle because they play at such a slow pace. Princeton, Creighton, I mean, listen, it's a Cinderella story for Princeton. I think Creighton's been playing too well. I've got Creighton going all the way to the national championship in my second chance bracket. And then Xavier in Texas. I just think Xavier is a little bit better offensively. Their last game, it was against Pittsburgh, but still, anytime you score 48 points in the first half of a college game, it is impressive to me, and they completely controlled Pittsburgh. They have had an easy road. If you remember beating Kennesaw State, they were losing to them with like 18 minutes left in the second half by 10 points, but they end up beating them, and then they crush Pittsburgh. I just like them over Texas. To me, Texas is just going to go cold tonight, and Xavier's going to end up winning that game. So I have Alabama, Houston, Creighton, and Xavier winning tonight, and all of those teams advancing to the Elite Eight. But guys, that's going to do it for this March Madness update. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.